So, a bit of a nasty move last night in Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the big coins, Litecoin leading the way. False breakouts. What that's usually a sign of is an irregular correction, or potentially what we've just done in this sequence from this low here is a wave 5. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if that's so, then we're going to reverse just this middle bit here, or correct this just middle bit. And in fact, let's look at, no, I still think that this 4,800, 4,775 level is the level that we should be buying back yet, because this would then be this previous wave 4. So if we look from this swing, so we've got wave 1 and now we're in wave 3. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to correct this wave, I think from here, but it might be from here. But the best way for me is, you know, I'm using these fib projections for targets, and very often if you blast through them, they become support. And always in trading, you know, the previous swing low is a really good support level in a bigger pullback. So let's say 4,800, 4,775 at some exchanges. If we put our fib retrace on, you can see that the 382 sort of lines up with here. I think that we'll probably see something like that. But immediate support at Bitstamp is 5,039. If you're using Tether at Binance, then we'll say that immediate support from this swing, okay, 5,008. So about 5,000. I think that there could be a good attempt to buy around that round number. You know, markets love round numbers. Bitcoin and crypto particularly love round numbers. But if we lose that 5,000 support, then here in Tether at Binance, it's around 4,800. I think the pullback level. And so we're going to do this again. 4,722. Maybe that's where the daily 20 moving average. We're going to say in that range. If we lose 5,000, we're going to be in that range. Now here on the daily chart, let's look at the RSI, because, you know, these oscillators, they're really good timing tools for when is it time to get back in again. But they're also, because we see divergence in them, very good warning signs of reversals. So I'm going to go back to my Bitstamp chart because I've got the fibs marked on that one. Okay, and we know that we've got really strong resistance coming up, we think, around 5,700, 5,800. And I think that there's a really good chance, because we've been so squeezy, that we'll tag that level before we make a bigger correction, if you like. So what that means is I think we'll pull back for a couple of days. So back on Saturday would be a good time for you, David. And then we'll pull back for a couple of days and then carry on higher to this 5,800 level. Do you see when we were on the way down in this RSI, we made a low here on the 24th of November, which was this low here on the RSI. Let me mark it. This low here and this low here. And then we made a lower low in price, but we made a higher low on an RSI. That's always a really good indicator that we're about to make a bigger correction. What we've got on our RSI at the moment is we've got no sign of that kind of bearish divergence yet. So what a good indicator for me would be, so we have a couple of days. So imagine we have a couple of days that we sell off here. We pull back maybe to this 236 fib, maybe down to this 4,700 level that I'm looking at. Okay, and then we make a rally in Bitcoin that takes us to that final high, hopefully in 5 waves, and it all plays out as it should. But what we might see on here is a lower high on the RSI, and then that would be the warning that we've reached a bigger correction, and then we'll see a wave 4. And that's, if this was our first leg and this was wave 2, then this wave 4 is going to be a correction, something on the scale of this correction. And that would also kind of line up with the end of April, beginning of May. And that's when we tend to see a bit, you know, at some point, the stock indexes have gone up in a pretty straight line for the start of this year, and that's when we tend to see a bit of a pullback. And there is quite a strong correlation with Bitcoin and the stock indexes. It's quite strong at the moment. And so I think, you know, they say sell in May. I think that that's what we might do. And we'll see this correction just for a couple of weeks before Bitcoin carries on higher. Ultimately, I do think we'll end up, when this in first leg one, if you like, finishes. Let me get rid of this pen. I think we're going to end up here around 7,000. That's for this final first leg. Will take us to 7,000.